This is the regular Saturday uh, non-duality gathering. Um, sometimes I'd come in. It wasn't today. It was for a recovery meeting, and some people were talking, and the guy was was talking about a lady, who gives this message, I guess. And then the guy said, "Oh no, I'm not seeing her. I'm just going to come here because I like to hear what I'm not. I think it works better than hearing about what I am." That was a very good, because a lot of times people combine the two. They think it's the same message. It's not the same. It's the same. It's not the same message. It's different. Negation is definitely not arrived at through our affirmation. Yeah. So it's a negating of duality. It's not talking to that which is constructed as a dualistic reference point, us, yeah, about what can't be described. That's not the message. Yeah. The message is let's describe what can be described and understand what can be understood and see what can be seen. Instead of trying to apply that to what we are, just apply it to what we're not, which is, it's just a tricky term because there's just mental processes that are going on, and then there's a big lazy leap in a way, and then we take ourselves to be that which was being implied. Yeah. We basically fulfill the sentence, so to speak. It's like, I did that, boom, and then there's a picture of you as a body. I thought that picture of you as a body. It's like a reflex almost. So there's a constant pointing, and then there's a point that's derived at. Yeah? The pointing doesn't lead you to that point. There is no point. It implies there is one. Yeah? So it's basically an advertising of an imaginary product, really. And then we take ourselves to be the product in a sense. Yeah. And now suddenly what we are, aka appearing as Paul, gets to a point in life where it starts using what it is to look for what it is. That's the warning of non-duality. It's not applicable to searching for pants. Yeah, it isn't. It's not applicable to getting eight pack abs or whatever. It's applicable to the topic of what we are, because you can't arrive at what you already are. It's impossible. And that's the assumption of non-duality, is you are what you're looking for. That's the assumption. You are that. Yes? I am. So it wasn't like I'm gonna be. It's I am. And so what's causing it to seem so difficult for that to be clear in one's life? Well, there's got to be an activity that's obscuring it. And the only thing I find that could fool reality is reality itself. Yeah. I mean, there's a great statement by Ramana. There's no illusions. The illusory conditions produced by us. Yeah. There is no illusion. There's something that is implied, and then there's a taking to be that. There's not a you taking to be that. Yeah, there's a taking to be a you, so to speak. Yeah. And so that's why we want to question that activity, because if you're a lion already and you've heard you're a lion 800 times and something hasn't worked, there's something off. Yeah, there's something going on. Why is a lion having such a difficult time getting that it's a lion? You would think if you were a lion that it wouldn't take much. Yeah, to so the lion must be seemingly in the act of being identified as the sheep, to cause every message about being a lion to be misdirected and misinterpreted from a sheep's point of view. Yeah. And that sheeping is stubborn. Yeah. because it's not a volition. There isn't you doing it, yeah? But it's mechanical. It's just going on, yeah? The brain does it, you don't do it. So the brain is doing it. It's presenting this organizing principle. So whatever verb is noticed, there's got to be a noun involved, yeah? And so we live in this logic. Just you can see it with talks. People, we're drawn to the messenger, not the message usually, yeah? The message can get forgotten and the messenger gets emphasized. Yeah, it's just like a habit. That habit reveals a lot, yeah? It reveals a lot. The whole way we see things reinforces things, yeah? just the way it goes. And then you believe when something's moving through someone, it's theirs. They're the one that's doing it, yeah? Paul has something. This is what captures you in the bondage of self. When you've had an addictive life and you leave that addictive life, but the claiming of being the one who did all that addictive behavior is still in place. It's the exact same in a way, yeah? There's no way the mental logic can believe anything did through me, anything that I didn't do. Yeah, I had to have something to do with it. It's not true. Yeah? It was so obvious when I was running around like crazy. I may be cool, not thinking about cocaine whatsoever. Suddenly I have a beer. I start thinking about coke. Then I start going after coke. I start doing coke. Doing coke starts doing me, so to speak. Yeah? I start behaving, and if you had an addiction to cocaine, you would recognize I have an addiction to cocaine. It would be more specific than just an addiction. You would know I was addicted to coke. Because we would be like domesticated animals. The one could recognize the other. Yeah? This is bondage of self. And the bondage of self appears in the hearing of non-duality. Yeah? The message is claimed and then implied to be heard by the sheep. Now the sheep tries to get the message, but only as the sheep can think. And the only way it can interpret the message, you are that, is I can become like that. Yeah, it does. I watch it. Yeah. So then, in a subtle way, it sets out on another course of action to get non-duality. Non-duality is not a path. Yeah? There's not steps you have to take to arrive at where you already are. It's unnecessary. It's redundant. The only necessariness is if you have to do it for it to fail you, so it can be successful. That's the only value it has. Yes. The only value a path of non-duality has is it's going to fail you. That's the beauty. Yeah. And then you're left with your own devices, and hopefully you see they're not yours. Yeah. And then maybe, just maybe, the message of non-duality will land. And it won't be like a coming to Jesus. It'll be a whack, yes? Whack. And then something will be seen, like virgin seeing, yeah? You'll see the activities that you used to just assume were you, yeah? You'll see them, yeah? And then somehow you don't come to a new conclusion, you start from a new conclusion. Because the selfing concludes you are a self. It doesn't say you're becoming one or you're going to become one. It says you already are. And it says you're a historical one. So try to get out of that, mofo. Yeah? That's how it works. If you saw this thing that drives you crazy, if you saw the act of becoming it, you would have probably, begged out of the contract. You would have broke the contract. But when the selfing arises, it says you already are one. Yeah? What are you going to do then? Well, I'm going to try to get out of it probably. All right. What does that look like here? Addictions. Yeah. I get addicted to trying to get out of it. I addicted to get extreme experiences. I get addicted to drinking, using, sex, money, whatever. Get addicted just to check out all the time. And the funny thing is, none of them work because there's a mistake that's not being noticed that compounds itself. Every step that's added to it compounds, yeah? And that is self can't get out of self. Yeah. Well, then what's the solution? You're not in self. That's the solution. Because self can't get out of self, and you'd really like to get out of it. How am I going to arrive at what I hope to be the solution? Realizing you're not in it. Yes? Realizing you're not in it. And then when that happens, we have talks like this to warn how the mental process will re-engage, reinsert, re-imply, yeah? And so not that you're going to go into a battle and vanquish it because it's mechanical. You're just going to see it, yeah? And hopefully when you see it to a certain point, that will be enough seeing. Something will be convinced, yeah? And then you lose interest and attention in it. It doesn't mean you have a heroic journey of stopping it. It doesn't work that way, my feeling. You just see it's not you, and you lose interest in it. And then the gaining of interest, let's say in presence or whatever, sustains the distance that now is obvious between what you are and what you're not, yeah? And then you're awake to being awake. Instead of seemingly asleep to that fact, you're seemingly awake to that fact. All of it's dreaming. So in the dreaming, you can be seemingly awake to the fact of being awake, or you can seemingly be asleep to that fact. It doesn't change the fact, yeah? But it will sure change how the action figure travels if it's seemingly awake to the fact. Because Paul is never going to travel light. There's going to be traveling lighter through Paul. Yeah, but Paul is not the source of traveling light, nor is it the cause. Yeah. Yeah. So there's you lose the interest in the need to be liberated. To me, that's what liberation is. It's liberation from the need to be liberated. Really. Yeah. You stop trying to transcend. Transcend an imaginary place as an imaginary person. I mean, it's insane. It doesn't matter if 800 people are clapping your departure. You're not going anywhere, really. I don't care. Yeah. That's why I have no interest in a lot of stuff, because I know it's not going anywhere. It looks good while it's not going anywhere, but I've lost that interest because peak experiences, no, amazing, no. I completely disappeared. Who's saying that? It's just finally the great wisdom of no escape. You can't escape from an imaginary place. Yeah. You're seemingly going to be here all the time. Even like we were talking in the recovery meeting about blackouts. I don't know if anyone else has them, but addicts, alcoholics have a lot of blackouts, a certain variety. And it's funny, some people actually live more successfully in 15 hours blacked out than when they were there. Yeah? but there was something representing them in those 15 hours. Yeah. When the person at the bar said, Paul, you want another drink? Something responded to that invitation. Even though when you seemingly come to one moment, the self that's now reinvigorated tells you, I don't remember anything. Yeah, because it doesn't behoove the story of self to believe that there was another self for 15 hours. It just takes away the whole idea of being the independent, long-lasting, separate entity. If there could be a number of emblems on the same car, yeah? It's a Ford. No, you just change it, put a Chevy on it, or a Rambler. It's so this idea, it's just manufactured. Yes, you're not of this manufacturing. You're of a different quality. Yeah. Never coming, never going. Yeah. Never this, never that. Just always available at all times. Right where you are. With no requirements necessary, except for the ones that you make up through the identification as self. That's why I love when Ramana says, the greatest mystery is reality wanting to attain reality. What could set up that conundrum? What could set that up? You tell me. The only thing I can see is reality being identified as something else. Yeah? It must be in an act of being identified as something else to want to attain itself, obviously. How else could that come about? Yeah? So what's needed? Keep on keeping on? No, recognizing what you're not. When you recognize what you're not, you start finding out what you are. Yeah? And when you find out what you are, it tells you you've always been this. There was not one moment where you thought you were exiled and separate, that you were exiled or separate. Not one. Not one. Yeah? It's always this way. So basically, all our little shenanigans are totally irrelevant in the context. Yeah? All the shaking in the content hasn't shook up the context. Yeah? Now, if you can lend, well, you'll just notice it. When you lose interest in the content, you're going to gain interest in the context. And that interest in the context is what allows you to travel lighter through the content. It does. Yeah. Every form of traveling lighter in the content demands stuff from you. Vigilance, maintenance, purification, on and on and on and on and on. This has nothing to do with producing value in the content. It's the fact that all commerce of the content has no effect on the context. Yeah? Just like we use the term of the sky. Sky is unbelievably wide open. Tons of stuff appear in it, yet not whatever appears in it leaves no effect on the sky. Ever. Yeah? That's sort of like content, context. The action figure is programmed to emphasize content. Yeah? What we are is of context. Do you want to try to use content to try, because it's only going to see in a conceptual way context, yes? Through the lens of content. That's not context. So here's the message. Just as a fundamental assumption, you're the I am, or awareness. From that point, no more describing what we are. Let's describe what we're not. Yeah? See where it takes us. I find things that seem to allow me a certain moment of relief would seem to demand more seeking and more work to try to arrive at another one of those moments. This overrides all that. This is like dog shit awareness. It's not like 4th of July explosions and Rose Day parades. It's just a sense of contentment and satisfaction that outshines situations and circumstances, not are made or dependent on circumstances and situations. Yeah. All right.
Ready for questions? I already had to answer one for Walter. He didn't know what mofo was.
Well, I don't want to. I'm trying to. I did some talk for a group, and I don't know if they send it to every one of their speakers, but they always send it to me. Please do not use profanity if at all possible. So I still did it once, but I did it anatomically about shit, and so I didn't feel that bad. So
Oh
I'm
yeah,
trying to. Yeah.
that brought up a good thing. It's like you added the trophies of ship bags. The degree
Yeah.
of
Yeah. So there you go.
I love that.
That was sort of, and yeah. So that's why I mofo. Walter, at some time in your life, I bet you very appropriately, you were seen as a mofo thousands of times. I just have a strange feeling about that. Yeah. So. From one mofo to another mofo. All right. Anyone wants to ask a question? How
No
about
hands.
Mary Ann Kay? Put her on a. Come on, Mary Ann, jump in here.
Thanks for calling on me, Paul. I was listening to one of your talks the other day, and it hit me again that you were like, I am not the thinker. And it just hit me so hard, that, wow, I really think I'm the thinker so often, that I'm responsible for these thoughts, that I have to change them. I have to change me. I have to change everything. I have to fix everything. And it's such a relief when yeah, I'm not the thinker. And then I get sucked back right into it again. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but that 1 second in a certain ledger is eternity. So that's incredible. Really, it is. It's incredible because it will just it will weaken the imaginary foundation of this bondage of self. Yeah, as being the doer of all this stuff it has nothing to do with. Yeah. So these are like cracks in the imaginary foundation. It can't withstand coming from what we are. It just can't. Yeah. When you see it from what it is, what you're not, it constantly tells you, informs you, not that you're gonna be or you could be, but you already are, and you already been the thinker for a long, long time. This is all. This is how it uses time in this little magic trick. Yeah. When it comes up, it says it's been you this whole time. And it's not true. Yeah? Yeah. So, yes. And just check out the word my. My is an important word in the English language. It implies really the bondage of self. To tell you the truth. It's the secret language of the slaves of self. Yeah? Everything that arises, it's preceded by my this, my that, my what. Yes? This false ownership allows what we think we own to own us. Yeah? How does the power of thought get to the thoughts? It's through the mind. Yeah? If you were just seeing thoughts, they wouldn't ruin your Hawaiian vacation. But if one of or a couple of them are held as yours, what happens, it's almost like an algorithm, yes? It hits it, it has a long thread, and the mind goes bing, and then shit downloads, like lumps of thinking about it, yeah? And they seem like they're new, but they're not. You've thought about other things the same way as you thought about thoughts, yeah? It just comes in, and then these definitely must be mine, yeah? But they're not. They're just the programmed, yeah? The algorithm gets set off. It's sort of like a mental spider. Once it hears that little movement in the thread, it moves, yeah? So, bing, ding, yeah, downloads. All the while, everything that's coming through this, we're the doer of. It's unbelievable. I mean, if you could see it almost in an image. You ever see those show in the old movies? They'd have a woman that was on like a roulette thing, tied up, and this night guy with a blindfold. This is like what we're just getting. Like before, just in 5 seconds, we're pinned to this idea seemingly. Yeah, and then going around the hamster wheel at the same time. Of course we want to have a drink at 10 in the morning. Of course we want to smoke some cigarettes. Of course we want to eat that whole chocolate cake that we know is 7 days old. Just give me the sense I'm getting out of it is worth it. In a weird way. I know nothing's going to work, but I'm still going to eat that whole bag of popcorn. It's the powerless cry of an imaginary slave. Yes? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so now when there's feelings and they're just habitually implied to, used to imply the feeler, yeah, maybe you can just keep it in the feeling realm and go, wait a minute, where does this feeler come from? I'm feeling something, there's a feeling, but where does there be a feeler? I don't see that. Yeah. Yeah. But it precedes, in the mental state, every feeling that's noticed is always used to imply the feeler, the one long-lasting, independent, separate feeler. Yeah, this is the bondage of self. It's an activity, constantly being reinforced by more activity. You can't fight it. It's pointless. That would be part of it. Yeah? Yes? You just see it. That's the one quality it can try to claim, it can try to mimic, but it can't capture. Yeah? It is not aware. We are. Yeah? We are that. Yeah? That's like the, what do they call it in government, where the sunshine, where you bring light into some opaque transactions. We're like that. Yeah? We are that sunshine. We are that light. Yeah. It wants us to get obsessed with so many other stuff that we'll seemingly forget our own nature. Yeah? Yeah. To the point we'll start looking for it as what we're not, which is really insane. Yeah? We'll try to become spiritual. Yeah. Almost the only way, like a mental mimicking of what the mental state would think is spiritual, because it has no clue whatsoever. Loving gazes doesn't make this, that's nothing. Yeah, speaking in monotone and having long pauses doesn't mean shit, really. Something comes through, something comes through. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks, Marianne. Thanks for, yeah. That's going to expand. Once you, again, Like Ramana would say, your head is already in the tiger's mouth. Yeah. Once you start seeing, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Once you get an idea and catch a couple of the acts of claiming, you can get the principle of claiming. You can. You don't have to witness 800,000 examples. You witness enough and then something flips. Yeah. And now you're sort of clear about it. And then the whole idea that you had something to do with it is gone. Yeah. It's just clear. And sometimes when this clears up, it doesn't come up for debate every 3 months or review. It becomes established, really. Yeah. Like in my feeling, has been the last answer in time. I was very keen on the topic of whatever you want to call spirituality, transcendence. I wanted to get out of me, really. Yeah. Very keen on it. Yeah. For this, and when I heard this idea, in time, I can look at it as it has been the last answer concerning this topic that I was quite interested in. That's a pretty good answer because it negated any more need for any other answers, old ones or new ones. Yeah, that's a pretty good answer. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. All right. Anyone else, Mike?
Thanks for stepping in, Marianne. Yes, but I wanted to say, but Paul, my shitbag necklace is lost. Catherine Fox London has her hand up.
Yes, hi, Paul. Thank you so much. I was going to ask a question about. I feel like you've probably just answered my question, but I was going to ask you a question about the nature of memory. And earlier today,
The nature of memory is mental.
yeah. Okay. Can I just expand on that a little bit?
It's part and parcel of the brain, I imagine. So it's a mental activity. So there's pictures that are used to imply a lot of stuff, really. But basically, most memories, you're in them, yes? Yes?
Yeah, well, when I thought about this earlier today, the question about memory, it felt like really it was something really important, or it had some kind of gravitas to it, and then I forgot. I
Well, it
forgot
doesn't
what
really.
about memory, but I love this thing of it's the last answer, and I really feel that's kind of where I'm at. And but it, alongside this, the last answer, the restaurant at the end of the universe. What I'm finding is that my memory is just going, and
Well, that's another question then. That if the memory that you can't find your keys for 4 hours and stuff, is that if that's what you're talking about, you need to. I would say after the meeting when people have discussions, because that's not of this topic really. But yeah, if your memory's going as the action figure, there's some things you can do. Is that what the point was?
well, I don't know. It's hard for me to remember what the point was exactly, but it's more kind of as the action figure becomes to some extent a memory. It what I'm what I'm finding is that remembering, you know, like if I think, you know, I meet people who can kind of recount conversations they've had with someone like a week ago, and in great depth. You know, he said, I said, they said, I said, she said, and it just feels like that area of my consciousness is just being wiped. It feels like it's being wiped clean. I doesn't, you know, if I make a time to meet up with somebody on Wednesday afternoon, I can hold this concept, this mental concept of when Wednesday afternoon may be, and it's not like, well, I have been losing my keys and stuff like that, but it doesn't bother me. And I was just thinking about dementia, about what happens when there is a real breakdown in that mental capacity to remember. I'm not talking about an extreme form of dementia where you wouldn't recognize family members, but just the relief of forgetting. You know, I'm just finding that actually, if I surrender to it, it's a huge relief. You know, it's not a problem. But I was just thinking that maybe part of dementia or the fear of losing one's memory is one's attachment to it, you know, all the anxiety that goes alongside that. But I think you've you know what you said previous to this question about the last answer. I really feel there's something in that that's.
I think a lot of ways, there's no rote way things go, but in observing what happens with me, there's a paring down, or the system can become efficient by losing interest in a lot of stuff. Yeah. So, I don't know. I just never think about anything like that. I don't know. I feel like I'm divinely dumb. I sort of like it. And, yeah.
Well, I think that's,
If
you
your
know,
memory is going bad, and it may not be bothering you, but it may be bothering others. Like, my girlfriend is in the car waiting for 20 minutes as I go through the the pantomime of going in the house to get one thing, forgetting something out, on and on. So yeah, it may not be bothering me, but I think it's bothering her quite a lot. So.
it doesn't feel like it's adversely affecting my life in any way. It's just a kind of phenomena that as I'm kind of traveling on this, journey of the last answer, it just feels like maybe what you said, it's a falling away of something.
Yeah, of course. I mean, a false premise needs a lot of support to appear to be true. Yes? Something
Yeah.
that isn't so needs a huge amount of support to appear to be so. So, when there's a last answer concerning that topic, a lot of the stages that it needed aren't built anymore. Yeah? The show gets much smaller. I'm serious. For something to appear to be so, it's a lot of effort. There's a lot of work going on. There's a lot of processes that have to continue to reinforce that idea. Yeah? When when the last answer, let's call it that. I don't like the idea of time in it, but when the last answer becomes a dominant theme in one's life as this action figure, a lot of shit gets pared down, yeah, because it's not necessary, yeah, because the emperor doesn't need a huge wardrobe when you've seen him without any clothes. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. It's just a different, yes. So
Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
I don't know how things are going to change for everyone, but I would say they will change for sure. But there's not like, oh, these are the 58 changes that everyone who's ever gone through this change will exhibit, and it happens in this time frame. No, I don't see it that way. I see whatever whatever we are, it can appear and manifest any way it wants. Yeah. So yeah. I always go back to a story about a saint, and the saint had some strange behavior, and the people sort of looked at his behavior and tried to make a path out of it, because they thought, well, if I do what he does, it will lead me back to where he is. But he wasn't doing that to get to where he is. He was expressing where he is by doing all that stuff. Yeah, it's totally different. I don't think there's any rote thing here. I mean, yeah, just like we had Ben from I think the recovery meeting. He was at this talk I did in London years ago, and sometimes when you're in a live talk, you can tell when there's a ringer. You know, someone's going to come in and they want to ask a lot of questions and stuff. And so I saw this dude, and then he started off, and then he wanted to talk about the absolute meaning of hope, which means it's a disservice, it's fooling, you're just fooling yourself. And I said, I don't see it that way, because in early recovery, hope is very important to an addict, yeah? Because they're feeling so hopeless, a little bit of possibility goes a long way, yeah? Now, down the road, hope could be a disservice because you're not engaged with what's happening, you're hoping it to be different. But see, whatever comes after us is made by us, yeah? By mind. So mind's giving the meaning to hope. Hope doesn't have a structured, solid meaning. It's made to be what it is by what's before it, yeah? Which is mind, dreaming, us, dreaming, yeah? So that's why I feel it can look any way it wants, yeah? You could have a story that you woke up when you hit the K's of the phone book, you know? Now, do you think a lot of people would try to do that? Probably, with the hopes it would produce the same effect, but that's not what produced anything, yeah? That's just an expression, yeah? So mind is already fully realized. If it wants to appear like this and that happened for it to be fully realized here, it can look at that. It can look that way. Did it produce the fruit fully realized? No. Like Ramana says, it's fully realized. It's always realized. So there's no realization of it. It's always realized. Yeah? So here, if something can seem not to be so, and then it seems to be so, it looks like a story of awakening. Yeah, doesn't it? You could write a story. I went to Course in Miracles, I did this, I did that, and in the storyline it has value. And yet, when you arrived at that storyline, it tells you it's always been that way. So it didn't have any value. Yeah? So here it has value, and then it doesn't have any value in the context. Yeah. I always make that joke about the Walmart. The person woke up in Walmart on a Saturday morning. A toaster fell off the third shelf in the appliance section, hit him on the head. He woke up. And so now people hear that, and then they try to get to Walmart on a Saturday at 11 o'clock, have a friend push a toaster over, hit him in the head, trying to reproduce that experience. But that's not how it happened. It was already so, and then there was an appearance, yeah? And that was christened as the awakening event. This is what happens in recovery. We talk about a bottom, yeah? So someone finally has their bottom. You're usually living in a bottom for years. The only time it becomes a bottom is when you move out of it, yeah? Now you have the bottom, but you were living bottom for years and years and years. Yeah. So suddenly the mind changes, and then that change creates produces an expression, and the expression is you got sober. Yeah. But in fact, you got struck sober, and then there was the act of looking like you got sober. Yeah. It's the same thing with the Mike talk about the lady with the necklace, meaning our own nature. And she has this beautiful necklace, and she believes she lost it. And in believing she lost it, which she didn't, it doesn't go anywhere, but she believes it's gone, she's bummed out. What is that but dreaming? Yeah? Yes? So in a way, all of these awakening experiences we hear about are causeless effects. Yeah? The cause was already available at all times. So it didn't cause the effect. It's a causeless effect. The effect was stated as if it caused it made the cause. Yeah? You see? No one wakes up. There's awakening, period. Yeah? And there's a story that you woke up. But what did you wake up to? Something that's always available at all times, no matter where you are or what condition you're in. Yeah? So how did you wake up to that? If when you wake up to it, it says you've always been awake. So did you actually wake up to it?
Well, I've never called it an awakening.
I'm just riffing. I'm not speaking about the particulars. I'm just going off now. Yeah. I'm just going off. So I don't even know where I started, but it just went off on some tangent.
You
The
started,
memory is just the memory. It's what's using or how it's used. That's what we talk about in the bondage of self. The memory is used to picture you as a body in the past. Yeah. The memory can have beautiful effects, but the way it's being used by the mental state that we're attempting to talk about is that it's using memory to picture you as a body, to reinforce that you're a body now. And in that, taking yourself to be something else, you're in the active denial of what you are. Memory is just another mental process that's being used. There's nothing right or wrong with the processes. There's a using of them, yes, to support something, to support an idea of being a long-lasting, independent, separate thing. And therefore, you live with a language that keeps using the word my in front of everything. My money, my problem, my this, my feelings, my da, 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 da. And that is the act of being bonded to self. Yeah. Mike, anyone else?
Oops, shoot.
I left the Zoom there. I zoomed out for a while.
that was great. It's just what I needed. Just what I needed. And there's obviously there's memory that's really helpful. Like if I get in my car, it's good for me to remember how to drive.
Yes, of course.
You know, but there's also memory, which is like a long playing record that's just, you know, scratch that's just caught on a track, and the track will just, you know, replay and replay and replay and replay. And I
But
think,
what's great about that is it can be turned into comedy. It's sort of fun. Yeah. I remember a lot of funny things. Yeah. They weren't funny at the time, but they're really funny now.
but do you remember some things that weren't funny at the time and still aren't funny?
For sure, but I can't do them justice. Yeah? There's nothing like living. This is what happens in recovery. People can't do it justice what it's going to be like when they go back out using. And they get totally surprised when they go back out using. Because they had no idea the day-to-day, moment-to-moment experiences that can be produced by the mental state having another run on it, you know? The genie's out of the bottle, and now you're going to live its 3 wishes. So, yeah.
So in that context, in the recovery context, then the thing of remembering where we came from, that again is another thing of memory, is remembering,
Yeah.
it said in meetings, don't forget where you came from,
Well, exactly, because then you'll go back there. But see, in this context, we're just pointing out there's no one that's doing it. There's no one that's remembering how it was. There's just remembering how it was. Yes, you see? It's different. There's remembering how it was, but there was no you remembering how it was. It's important to point out, especially if this is the topic of the meeting. Yeah. So the ideas of memories, the ideas of remembering this and not remembering that, all of that's lost in the primary point, which is there a someone doing it all? Because that's the assumption that language conveys quite a lot, is that there's someone that's remembering. We want to look at that, yeah? Or at least notice that little addition throughout the day while there's a hearing of the narration to see where all the weight is going and the distribution. Because when you see it, it has the ability to change, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear
So,
you. Yeah, thank you.
yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine. Mark and Lorraine is up next.
Mark and Lorraine.
Hi, Paul. It's Mark here.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Lorraine's there. She's listening. Um, but she'd rather not be on camera for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, I've got a few questions. I'll try not to take up too much time. But
A few.
sorry, when I say a few questions, they're all they're all about the same thing. They're not really. They're all different. They're just different perspectives. But I, what I've noticed is that when I'm not interfering, when I don't feel like I'm interfering, things I travel lighter. Things are less complicated. There's less. There's more of a recognition of me not being the doer, and it's. I can't tell you just how liberating it is, especially with, like I said before. Well, we've been through a lot, and it is so liberating, and so I don't want to use the word is natural, but it just makes sense. Not to try. It's making more sense. I'm not trying as much.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just not trying. And Catherine, I don't know if this relates to what Catherine was saying, that was speaking just now, but you mentioned skillful means before. And when I'm doing a task, I find that the task gets done without me saying I'm doing this task, or it's just easier when
Yes.
the task gets done. If you see what I'm saying,
Yeah.
it doesn't make it any quicker me saying it's me, or do you know what I mean? It doesn't make it any neater, or it just gets done.
Yes.
And conversations, when I'm having conversations, it feels sometimes I'm in and out of this, but I can sometimes feel where the mind wants me to recognize that person based on certain criteria. Do you know what I mean? How long have I known them? You know, what have been like in the past? It's not specific, but there's a sense of that. So
Yeah.
I'm aware that the mind wants to talk to them as an individual with all these different qualities or deficiencies or whatever. He just wants
Yeah.
to claim it, and it's just I recognize it, and it's quite funny because it's just like I can see the claiming, or I'm more aware of the claiming, and I'm in and out of that, Paul, and it feels not strange. It feels like it feels like it's supposed to feel like that. It's not a strange feeling, but it's very subtle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. I think you're good to go. Come back next year for your next appointment.
No.
We'll
Oh
give you,
well.
we'll give you a metaphysical.
Great. I
It
mean, I've got
sounds good
nothing.
to me. Yeah.
I've got nothing else really. I've got nothing else. It's just certain things. That's what it's.
That's a lot right there because you're sharing what it's like to start seeing what you used to look from. So that's cool. Very good. That's the whole one of the points here. Yeah.
Okay.
See, there's there's seeing and then there's looking from. And so let's say when you're doing a chore, yeah, and the head is looking from, it has an imaginary choice. Then doing the chore may be a drag, yeah.
Yes.
Even though, so
Yes.
see, the idea of you brings a lot of weight. Why
Yeah.
should I be doing this? Or
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
he hasn't done it for a week and I whatever. Yes,
Yes.
all
Yes.
this
Yes.
is triggered by a you.
Yes.
Yeah, when you lose interest in a you don't have to come up against all of its luggage, so to speak. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you stop the whole family from moving in, so to speak. So you just see it, and
Yeah.
then the feeling. So like in the morning, I wake up here. First thing, the cat's on the bed. I look at the food because now we have a dog, so the food can't be outside. It's in the room here. I got to get food for the dog, cat. Yeah. Then I get out there, and the dog, I have to give her food. Yeah. So now, basically, there's no thoughts involved in any of it because
Yeah.
it just has to happen. You know.
Has to
So,
happen. Yes.
but the mental state would like to have a choice,
Yeah.
and 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 basically so you have to realize this is why we say you hear there's a great party but when you show up it sucks. Yeah, this is what happens.
Yeah.
You can just go through things with very limited friction, so to speak. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but once you engage as a self, then opinions are there, then memory. Hey, I'm doing
Yeah.
a lot more than they're doing. Yes, on and on. And so suddenly, that which you are going to do anyway, you're doing quite heavily. And you
Yes.
come out with a resentment and other fucking
Yeah.
shit. And then
Yeah.
you know, and then somehow you start hating the cat, but it has nothing to do with the cat. It has to do what was triggered that you have to now carry through, which is
Yeah.
all miscellaneous shit, all
Yeah.
coming from this idea of self. Yeah. So that's the bondage of self. So the
Mm.
bondage of self, a lot of stuff that we need to do, the way when we're looking from self, we see that there should be a choice here and I shouldn't have to do it. You know what I mean? And then on and on, all this stuff. And then people accept that, and then they have to find tons of skillful means just to make it through the day without getting arrested, so to speak. Yeah? If
Yeah.
you would just take the carrier of all this luggage, yeah, and see you're not that, you won't have to go through looking through all the luggage, because the luggage won't, the luggage comes with the passenger. Yeah. Yeah. So you just, so that's why people have experiences all the time. They call it being in the zone, when there isn't the aspect of selfing going on. Yeah, it's going on, but it's not getting the interest it used to get. So then people love that sport they do, when that brings them into that zone. Well, that zone can be much more available at all times, because it's all based on something taking the interest away from the mental activity and put into the water or the sex or whatever. Well, this is what satsang is. This is what we're sharing, is to have that become the new norm, where all that attention and interest won't go to that. You won't have to do an extreme peak experience to get the feeling. It'll be the basis of your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
The horse will be in front of the cart. Yeah. And things will be clear. Yeah. And you didn't rearrange it. You're just observing that something has done the rearranging, and it was just, it seems like it has something to do with hearing this message, and there you go. Yeah. And then hopefully it motivates a large donation to the seeming person who you think gave you the message.
actually, Paul, Lorraine mentioned this to me yesterday. She says, we need to give a donation. Lorraine mentioned it. I said,
No,
okay, no, you know what? I know you're saying it in jest, but really, we do appreciate it, because we're our situation, because of all this, our situation is changing for the better. I don't know how exactly, but something you said before as well. This thing about making choices. As a self, you think you have to make choices, and what I'm realizing in moments is, it's not me making a choice. It's right action. If something needs to be done, like the house on fire, you don't say there's no house, you get a pail of water. So the things that need to be done seem to be getting done. And because of that, we're traveling lighter, and things are better for us. Our situation is improving from it. So it's and when I look at what it is, we're not actually doing anything, quite literally. Do you know what I mean? It's just recognizing that we don't have to we don't have to take so much shit with us to get through the day, or get involved with stuff that doesn't make any difference to anything apart from stress you out. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. See, this is a great share about traveling lighter. Yes. There's a religion about doing and having, but the spirit is probably the greatest mover of all things. Yeah. When mind changes, a lot of things change. Yeah. Like Jesus supposedly said, you can, with a mustard seed of faith, you can move mountains. That's not with your arms or legs. That's with mind. Yeah. So I noticed it a lot when I was younger with Tai Chi and Qi Kong, martial arts. Yep. At first, you'd have to do a lot of postures, and then maybe 20, 30 minutes, you'd feel the Qi and stuff. But after a time, all you did was get in the first posture, and you would feel it. It's all mind, mind. So that's why in recovery, habits are so important, because habits are actions without thoughts, You don't need miscellaneous thoughts while you're engaged in an action. You're engaged in the action. Yes, this is called living. So it's one of the great side benefits of the message, is that the action figure will travel lighter through what it needs to do and shit. Yes.
And I don't need to know a lot. I don't need to.
No, you don't need to know a lot. Hey, there's shit in the litter. The bowl's empty. That's about how much I need to know.
Yes, absolutely.
Clean the litter,
Absolutely.
clean the, oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
not like I don't sit there pontificating for hours. It's just gonna, yeah. You don't move it, the place gonna stink. So, all right, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Thank
That's
you,
sort of
Paul.
like the whole thing with Zen, which is, chop wood, carry water. Sort of what's implied.
Yeah.
There can be a lot of streams of action without much thought accompanying it. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And that's
Absolutely.
the sense of traveling lighter. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of shit doesn't need thought much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm realizing. I'm
It
thinking, what,
does.
all these years? Oh my God.
Yeah, well, that's
You know what? It doesn't matter. It is
no,
what
it
it is.
doesn't matter. Just
No.
and the thing is, what's beautiful is it progresses in and of itself in this time. Yeah, you don't have to push the car; it's already running. So you just get in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I swear. I mean, this is the easier, softer way.
Yeah.
It's a no way. So
Yeah.
yeah. I remember when I was young, and then I remember in hindsight, one time I walked into a room and I was accompanied by thought, and that became the new habit. Then my whole life was basically accompanied by thought. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that thought wasn't a real support. It wasn't. It was more of a, you know, very just. It was an agitating element that caused a lot of discomfort. Yeah,
Mm.
that my head came to weird conclusions about, and I really felt like mentally arthritic, even at the young age of 7 or 8. Yeah, it was just it was putting me in like a mental yoga, which is comprises one posture, being up the ass of self. And I tried so many ways to get out of that posture, out of as that posture,
Yeah.
until and they had their value by failing, really, which I have great honor and gratitude for.
Yeah.
I believe every hour I sat on a meditation table had value. I mean, seat had value, and every hour in jail had value, and every hour shooting cocaine had value.
Yeah.
There was points of being convinced that I couldn't arrive at by reading books or something. I wouldn't have come to that. I had to seemingly get my ass royally kicked and was brought back to my senses. So, yeah, that's why I really value the idea of traveling lighter. I think that's what people are mostly looking for when they go into spiritual practices. If they felt satisfied and content, they wouldn't fucking practice as much. I would pretty much guarantee it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. But thanks, bro. Yeah. Always a pleasure. Thank you
Thank you,
very
Paul.
much.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
And we've had wonderful shares today. Yeah. Very nice.
Anybody else want to raise their hand?
That doesn't mean to ask any questions, just an observation.
Lee. Hi, Lee.
Oh, Lee from Philly.
Thanks, Mike. Hey, Paul. How you doing?
Good, Lee. You?
I'm good.
Good.
I wasn't going to ask a question, but I had a question when you were talking about memory, and there's remembering, but no one who remembers. Sometimes when I think back to a memory from early childhood, I say to myself, how when you have a distant memory, you say it's like it happened yesterday. Well, it's like it's happening now because you're remembering it right at this moment. And it seems like the I who was there is the same I that's here now remembering it. It's like something hasn't changed.
Yeah, but that's the manufacturing feeling of historical I-ness, but it's not true that.
Well, that really blows me away, because I always thought that, that proves that I'm not the body, because the body was 7 years old then, and my worldview was obviously different then than it is now, yet I seem to be the same I who is remembering it. But I suppose if I say I'm remembering it, then that's still subject object, so that's still must be what I'm not.
That's not that thing that just comes up now all day. It doesn't have any history because it never was.
But nonetheless, it seems, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like when I remember that and say, I remember I was there, it seems to be I don't know if I would say a portal, but to be the I am that I am.
Well, that's great. If it works for that way, then what comes before this is giving it a good meaning. So go ahead. Yeah.
So the I am is not obviously a thought.
Yeah, I am is a nice touchstone for sure. You can't go wrong with that. I think I've stunned Lee into silence there.
Well, I don't have anything else to ask. I was just,
That's good, Lee. Thank you.
thank
Always
you.
a pleasure to see you, Lee.
Thanks, Lee. No other hands up, but Mikey Mike in the chat said, would you please ask Paul to do these earlier so people in Europe can attend? Appreciate it.
Yeah, we can do that, hopefully. What happened to our vote? I think we gave up on it or something. Whatever. What time is it in Europe now? Is it 10:30 or something?
It's 1:45, Paul.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I've missed my bedtime.
Staying up late for Zen Bit Slap. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're considering that maybe we'll make it a little earlier. Yeah.
Every now and then,
No, we won't be doing it for you, but we'll be doing
there
it.
is no me.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, we've considered that, and then we forgot it. Talk about memory.
Well, it's nice to see you
I
live.
feel like when it gets to be a little better weather here, I'd like it to be a little earlier anyway, because this is right in the middle of the day for us here in Northern California. I may have more important things to do than come to these Zooms.
I hope so.
Yeah, plastic surgery, hair extensions, some Botox here and there, scrubbing.
Are you getting in the water?
I have been, yes. I've been swimming because of my friend's great generosity in this lagoon. So I was in there yesterday, yeah. But I haven't gone down to boogie board, no. Not yet. It's too cold here, the ocean.
That's what wetsuits are for, Paul.
I know, but once you start living without them, it's a drag to put a whole one on. Yeah. I don't really miss that stuff, but yeah, I like going down to Southern Cal to this place near Ventura. The waves are pretty manageable. My legs are bad in a way, so whatever. It's a long story, but I've been enjoying going down there and boogie boarding down there when I get a chance. Yeah. All right. Now who is this again?
Philip, that was Mikey Mike.
Mikey Mike. All right. Mikey Mike. We'll probably have it a little earlier.
But wait a minute, Philip Pratt says in chat that it's later for them in Australia, in Oz.
Yeah. See, this is the dilemma, So, again, what sways the vote is donations. So Europe, you're way down. Start kicking down the euros, and then screw the Aussies. We'll come to something that will work. Maybe we can do 2 different ones. Yeah. On the same day. I don't care. In the morning.
Never make no one happy, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. But all right. Well, we'll try to I want to make sure we have it open for the Aussies and New Zealand, and then it would be good to not be so late in Europe.
Mark and Lorraine say, how much donation to start 2 hours earlier?
Oh wow. We got to have like one of those one on one no one no euro. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Bidding war, that's what Philip said.
A bidding war, yeah. I think it can be a win-win. We'll just have 2 meetings instead of 1. Like in the morning. Yeah. I don't mind. It's fine. All right, Mike, anyone else?
No hands.
Oh, we can end, eh? No? Yeah, it's almost it's getting late for the Europeans. Walter has to get his beauty sleep. I can see it, yeah. Walter. He's got to do the ritual. It takes him a while to get ready for bed, you know? Yeah? The face mask, put the hair in the thing. Yeah, yeah.
Mike
Sorry I made it harder for you tonight, Walter.
Mike Cerveni is asleep right now.
Mike Cervini sleeps
Oh
everywhere.
no, his arm came up.
I don't think I've ever seen Mike standing up in all this time. So, all right, let me say goodbye to everyone. Mike, fantastic. What are you doing today, Mike? Is Greg all right and everything? I'm going to call you when we get off because, yeah. We got Kerry. Nice to see you, Kerry, as always.
As always, thank you, Paul.
Yes, you're welcome. Marianne, thanks for kicking off the festivities. Always a pleasure. We got Tom. Nice to see you, Tom, over there. And we have Tommy. I don't see anyone, but he's there. Judith, as always, our little Hawaiian, yes, celestial being. Nice to see you, Judith. Yep. Walter, a brother from another mother. See ya. I'm gonna send you some slang from New York, Long Island. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Peter, nice to see you, Peter. Yeah, Peter, you look like a newscaster. It's great. I feel like I'm gonna get the news in a short period.
I'm working on it.
Oh, there.
Soon as I have any news, I'll let you know.
That's right. Give me an urgent notice. That's good. We got Tariq from Dover. Always a pleasure to see you. We got Glenda O'Driscoll. Glenda. Yes. Johannes, as always. We got John K. Nice to see you, John. All's well, I gather.
Yep, always a pleasure, Paul.
All right, good. We got Robert French. We're never going to disappoint the Aussies and the Kiwis.
Don't stop the profanities, Paul.
What?
Part of the message. Don't stop the profanities. It's part of the message.
I know. I held it back. You know, it was nice. I try to fulfill requests when they ask me. We got Mike. Mike has left the scene of the sleeping. He's up and about. Watch out! We got Simon Bard. Nice to see you. I see a hand moving from the side. Oh, there it is. A whole arm I saw. We got Alex. Nice to see you, Alex. Where are you from, Alex?
I'm from New York City, but I live in Hudson, New York.
Oh, nice home girl. Ah, good. We got Chris, the man before the smallest closet door. Very interesting. We got Simon. Oh, wait a minute. Who's this? Sonia, nice to see you again. We got Roman, as always. Nice to see you, Roman. Yep. We got Linda. Fantastic. Philip from Brisbane. We're not going to let you down, Philip. Don't worry. Stefan. Yeah. On having never left. We got Zlatko. Yeah. Kurt and Linda. They're
Hey,
going to
buddy,
be
good
on.
to see you.
Nice to see you guys. You're going to be on the magazine cover of Non-Duality Couples. Yeah. 2021.
Say it again. Say it again.
Say hi to Amelia for us.
Oh yeah, she's
We'll sign the-
actually, she's away with the kids for the day and night. So I'm yeah. I'm on my own with the dogs and the cat.
In the litter box.
And the little box and everything else. The dog broke through the door, the side door of the gate, and was hanky-pankying with these other two dogs down the street. It weighs about, I had to pick it up, it weighs about 55 pounds. The thing is a very cunning little creature. Well, whatever. Mark, always nice to see you. Thank you. Say hello to Lorraine. And great share today. Lee, as always. Yep.
Thanks, Paul.
Just gets nicer and nicer, Lee, eh? Yeah. Yes. Ben Clark, the poet laureate of Zen Bitch Slap. Hey, I wanted to share. One of the members did a great piece of art. We just put it up on the T-shirt thing. I'm gonna buy it myself. It has me. It's him representing me as Bodhidharma. So I look as crazy as. Oh, it's a great shirt. So I recommend it. I think I'm gonna get some tomorrow today. Yeah, just go to. Is it on the website, Mike? That picture?
It wasn't earlier. Dimitri is going to put it up on the website, isn't he?
Well, yeah. Well, it's on Teespring. So if you want to look at it, very nice picture. Yeah. If you know what Bodhidharma was like, was like the Zen patriarch. He was like a Hindu monk who went to China and flipped out the emperor and stuff. And yeah, crazy looking mofo. All right, Bernard, nice to see you. Ruby Rose, pleasure. She's holding the fort in Wichita. I like that wall. Yeah. We got iPad 3 again. It's nice to see you, honey. It's okay. I like it. iPad 3. It sounds sort of formal. Yeah. We got Mickey, the Madeira matriarch. We got Evandra. Nice to see you, my friend. Helen. Northern. Oh, looking very bright today, Helen. Great. Yes, fantastic. We got Joseph, our man in France. Yeah. We got PK from Long Island City. He's styling. I don't know. It looks like a modified Spider-Man suit.
Exactly.
Oh, there it is. You put it up.
That's
You see
awesome. That looks
You see
great.
it? Not bad. Hey, do you see it?
Yeah.
I love the upside down question mark for your forehead.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I dig it.
Paulie Dharma.
There you go.
From Long Island.
There you go. It looks like what I looked like on 6th and Market in San Francisco when I was living on the streets. Nice representation.
Thanks,
No,
Paul.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks
Yeah,
for everything, man.
I think I'm going to have to represent with one of those shirts. So nice to see you, PK. Let me.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Paul. You're awesome. And you know what? It's great. Like, you help everybody with this launching pad by dismantling this false self. And then once we know we have that seeming sense, but like you said, see what happens. It's so awesome. It's so freeing. I did a lot of stuff in my day to try to, get higher. But I'm so addicted to hearing you. I wish I could listen to you 24/7, man.
Well, great, bro. Just let it in, and it's doing its thing. Yeah, I gotta see. Yeah, thank you.
You're awesome.
I gotta get back to the pictures where I see everybody.
The message.
Yes, the message.
Maple Avenue.
Maple Avenue. Yes. Right next. Hey, Mike, can I have? I don't have. There you go. I got it now.
I couldn't
Pretty
figure out how
cool
to stop
shirt, eh? I think that shirt's awesome. Yeah. Do not perform any illegal events, actions with that shirt on, though. I don't want you to be in the police getting your picture of the Zen bitch slap.
Paul, who is the artist on that shirt?
Who was the artist, Mike? He's one of the musicians that sends us music.
Stephen of Stephen and Nick of what is it? Hold hands with us.
It's
Yeah,
it's
hold hands.
fantastic. It's Paul and Bodhidharma in one. I don't know how you do that, but he did it.
Yeah, he did. I thought he did a great job. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Yes, very impressed. So we got Norman from Germany, fantastic. David W., our teacher in residence, yes. Ariane, nice to see Ariane. We got Keith T. in Boise, Idaho. He's driving, or in somewhere. Yes, nice to see you, Keith. Keep your eye on the road. Catherine from London, pleasure, honey. Thanks for that share today, dialogue. Malkin. Malkin is my greatest benefactor.
Hey, man.
Nice to see you, Malkin.
You too, man.
We got Eric from Toronto, doing well. Yeah, remember, Eric, you're the director of the facility, but you're being directed by the Spirit. Yeah, yes. We got Rachel. There she is. Nice to see you, Rachel. Nice, happy face. We got Chad. Chad is he's mining for gold to send me some more. Yes. We got Nina. Nina, always a pleasure, honey. Yes. Yes. Been with us the whole time, and yeah. Yes, good. Let's see. We got Catherine. Oh, we had that one already. We got Navdeep and Eligio and Stacy from Los Angeles. Noan, Kenneth, Marianne. We had the question from her. We got another shot of Norman. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. It was a very nice little Saturday. Appreciate it.
Very nice. Paul, love you, buddy.
Thank
I'll
you,
see
Paul.
you
Thanks
guys.
for your time, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Paul.